One Faithful Step, Episode 1. I don't know if this is faith or fear. It's 11:40 at night. I'm sitting in the dark with a laptop on my knees, and I honestly could not tell you whether what I'm doing right now is faith or fear. My daughter is asleep. The house has been quiet for a while. There's one light still on somewhere down the hallway. I can hear the refrigerator running in the kitchen, and every few minutes the heating or air conditioning comes on. That's the whole soundtrack. The visible part of my day is over. Work, dinner, bath time, the bedtime negotiation. One more question, one more story, one more reason she is suddenly not tired, and then the house gets quiet. I open the laptop and begin the part of the day that almost nobody sees. People have a lot of names for this: discipline, sacrifice, the grind. There's an entire world of content about working while everyone else sleeps. The music is dramatic. The desk is spotless. The coffee somehow still has steam coming from it. And the message is always the same: how badly do you want it? But I want to be honest because I don't think I can make this channel any other way. I don't always know whether this is discipline. Some nights it doesn't feel like something I am choosing. It feels like something I am afraid to stop doing. Like if I close the laptop too early, something will catch up with me. A bill, a missed opportunity, another year passing without the breakthrough I thought would have happened by now. That is different from ambition. Sometimes fear puts on ambition's clothes, sits down at the desk, and calls itself responsibility. And I know the difference. At least I know it during the moments when I am willing to admit it. After my divorce, I remember looking at everything I was responsible for: rent, childcare, a car payment, debt, the ordinary costs of keeping a life moving. There wasn't one dramatic moment when everything fell apart. It was quieter than that. It was the realization that there was no room for me to stop moving because my daughter still needed stability, regardless of what had changed in my own life. I think that is where some of this lives, underneath the schedules, underneath the goals, underneath the part of me that believes one more shift, one more project, or one more productive night will finally make everything feel secure. And here is the part that is hardest for me to say out loud. I grew up being told that God provides. I believe that. I could say it to you right now and mean every word. But if you watch the way I sometimes live, the late night laptop, the constant calculations, the way I check things that have not changed since the last time I checked them, you might not conclude that I trust God with provision. You might conclude that I believe it is entirely my responsibility. I act as though God's promise has a deadline, and as though I am the one holding it together. I am trying to build something of my own. I am building Doctayo as a place where people can receive practical, trustworthy medication education from a pharmacist. I am also developing Metuvia AI, a tool designed to help healthcare professionals review insurance policies and prior authorization information more clearly and responsibly. Yes, I hope these projects become successful. But underneath all the business language, what I really want is simpler. I want to create stability for my daughter. I want to build something that gives us more choices, more time together, and a future that does not always feel one unexpected event away from changing. Recently, I was reading the information about my daughter starting kindergarten. I had missed the first orientation because of work, and as I looked at her name on the school information, it struck me that she was already entering a new stage of her life. It felt as though I had just learned how to hold her, and now there were school records, orientation dates, drop off plans, and a whole new world opening in front of her. I didn't have a response for that. I emailed the school and asked whether there would be another opportunity for me to attend an orientation. Then I went back to my calendar and started working out how to fit it around everything else. That is the honest version. I wish I could tell you I closed the laptop, cleared my schedule, and became a completely different man. I didn't. This is not that kind of story. I am still learning how to tell the difference between working hard for my family and trying to outrun my own fear. At 11:40 at night, those two things can look almost identical. So no, I do not have this resolved. What I have is one small practice I am trying. Before I begin the second shift, I stop for 1 minute. No phone, no typing, no checking my bank account, website traffic, email, or calendar. I pray and I ask God one question. Is this work I am supposed to do tonight or work I am afraid not to do? Then I write down one meaningful task, not 12, one. When that task is finished, I give myself permission to close the laptop. I am not always successful. Sometimes I keep going. Sometimes the fear is louder than the prayer. But at least now I am learning to notice which voice is leading me. That is why I call this channel One Faithful Step, because that is genuinely what I can manage. Not a perfect plan, not a complete transformation, not 5 years of life mapped out in advance. Just one step taken honestly with God before I know what the next one will be. I still do not know whether everything I am building comes from faith or fear. Most days it is probably some of both, but I have decided that I do not need to solve my entire life before I take the next faithful step. Sometimes that step will mean opening the laptop and doing the work God has placed in front of me. And sometimes it will mean trusting that the work can wait until morning. Sometimes faithfulness is opening the laptop, and sometimes it is finally closing it. If you are trying to build a better future without missing the life God has already placed in front of you, I'm glad you're here.